Oh, hello there. We're open tonight for fun and so glad to see you here. Welcome to Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles video cast where we get together every other Monday and discuss the solo careers of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Sometimes we discuss the Beatles also as a group. I'm Joe Mayo. I have a YouTube channel called Mean Mr. Mayo. And we have a show for you with a love theme for Valentine's Day, which is going to be coming up a little too soon for my liking this year, but it's going to be here. And I'm going to introduce you before we start to my co-host. Okay, first we have the author of Songs We Were Singing, Guided Tours Through the Beatles' Lesser Known Tracks, Michael Jackson FAQ, Fandom and the Beatles, the act you've known for all these years. It's the great Queen, Kit O'Toole.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, Tom, Ken, and everybody out there.
Hey, Kit.
Next, coming to you straight from Arizona, we have none other than half of the Two Legs Paul McCartney centric podcast. It is none other than the great Tom Hunyadi. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Joe. Thank you very much. Ken and Kit, it's always great to see you and hang out with you. And let's get romantic here. Let's we got a little candlelight and flowers behind me and getting the mood ready, here. So it's gonna be another fun one.
All right.
All right. And last but not least, the elder statesman here. We have someone who's been around for a long time, but that's a good thing. With his syndicated Beatles show, Every Little Thing, he's got a podcast, Beatles related, Things We Said Today, and also a YouTube channel, Ken Michaels Radio, where he interviews all kinds of people and does all kinds of fun stuff. I don't know what you call them, games played. I enjoy doing sometimes, like what is it again? The five. Beatles
Fab Five.
Fab Five.
Five.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I did
Fab
that.
Five, the number 9 Dream Show. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, in case you haven't guessed, because I said his name in the radio program. It's Ken Michaels. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Tom. Hi, Kit. I've got to learn to be in a podcast where I'm not the oldest one.
I know.
Al Sussman, what are you doing right now?
Right. Yes.
You have
come on,
the
Al,
most
let's go, Al.
experience.
Right.
That's right.
You have the most experience.
I'm the most seasoned.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There you
I like
go.
I only say that because it makes me feel younger. That's all.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
I
All
must
right.
say, Kit always has the best backdrops.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another good one.
I had to find something having to do with love.
Right.
That's
with
the Only Love Remains design, isn't it?
That's right. Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
perfect.
Well, that's
Perfect.
looks like that's
Very nice.
the 12-inch single. I think
Yep.
the 7-inch was just a little different.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yep,
he
I
knows
have
his
the
stuff.
7-inch.
That's why you have to go and make sure you watch the show that is Two Legs, because you're going to learn little tidbits like that.
That's right. You got
All
it.
right, everybody.
Yep.
So, as usual, before we get started with our topic, which is going to be solo Beatles love songs, let's start with Ken Michaels and the news. Take it away, Ken.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We start with what I consider to be big news. And a big thank you to one of our listeners, Matt Wilczynski. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But he let me know that it is now listed on IMDb, Paul McCartney's long-awaited animated film, High in the Clouds, is expected out in 2022. And it's coming to Netflix. We did hear several years ago that Paul has already composed a soundtrack for it. Last I heard, there were 9 songs, one of which has Lady Gaga on it. And so we've been waiting a long time for this. Animated films take a long time to finish. And from the moment you hear about it to the moment it's completed, it's many years in between. So sometime this year, we don't know when exactly. There was no month listed, but they're saying on Netflix this year, High in the Clouds. I can't wait.
Oh,
Cool.
sounds exciting, and hopefully that the soundtrack will get a physical release.
I wish everything would come out physically. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Yes, we
Yes.
will.
Yes, we
I
will.
was going to say.
You know, he prepares me for these great segues.
Right.
Yeah.
But Ringo Starr has announced revised dates and a slightly revised
Yes.
all-star band lineup for his upcoming tour, beginning what is really the end of May. His band is almost entirely the same as his last all-star band lineup, with Steve Lukather, Colin Hay, Hamish Stewart, and Warren Ham. But now listed in the band and returning is Edgar Winter. Greg Raleigh, who's been admirably handling the
Yes.
keyboards for quite a while now, is not listed in the band. The tour will launch in Ontario with 2 dates at the Casino Rama on May 27th and 28th, followed by dates in New England, also New York, for 3 consecutive nights at the Beacon Theater. And he'll also be hitting Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Georgia, and Florida. Altogether, 23 dates ending in Clearwater, Florida on June 26th, all within a month. And Ringo was quoted as saying, "I can't wait to get back on the road and play. This is the longest I've been off the road in years. Up until 2020, I was touring every year with the All-Stars, and I've really missed it. Making music in the studio has been great, and it certainly saved me during the pandemic, but nothing beats playing live with great musicians in front of an audience. I love my fans, and they love me, and it's going to be wonderful to be peace and loving and playing for them again." Okay, and we can't wait ourselves. All right, good news right there.
I still have some
Um,
tickets left over, I think, for 2020
Mm,
Beacon
Well, they're
Theater.
going to honor it now.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
ones that were, that were canceled.
There you
So
go.
I have one of the shows at the Beacon to go to, and I'm going to be going to the one in Tanglewood, in Massachusetts. So I'll be seeing 2 shows.
Great.
Nice.
The Beatles' Apple Rooftop performance was just shown in IMAX theaters on June 30th. What was, of course, the 53rd anniversary of the concert, with a Q&A from Peter Jackson. I did attend that in New Jersey. Mark and Carol Lapidus was there.
Oh,
Tom Frangione, Mike Nari, one of our
Yes.
viewers, was there. Rich Kotwika, another one of our viewers,
yes.
was there.
Very cool.
Give a shout out to all you guys, and had a blast watching it. And a reminder, and I got this wrong. The Apple Rooftop concert, I thought it's going to be shown in just ordinary movie theaters for 3 days,
Mhm.
but it turns out it will be in IMAX theaters.
Yes.
Yeah, I know of one in Rhode Island that's going to show it, and it's this coming weekend, February 11th through the 13th. I really enjoyed the Q&A, by the way, with Peter Jackson, and he didn't reveal too much that wasn't in the interview that we did on Things We Said Today, but he did say that in New Zealand, there are no IMAX theaters. So he's kind of jealous of all of us because he hasn't seen it in an IMAX theater.
I'm sure he can
but,
afford to fly somewhere where there is one.
You think so?
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. But he also did say something, and I remember talking about this on Things We Said Today, that I don't know why he brought it up, but there's some 2 to 3 hours of film footage of the Beatles during the White Album,
Hmm.
which I didn't know about, outside of seeing Paul in the studio doing Blackbird and the band doing Hey Jude, which I don't consider White Album sessions anyway. It's just the same period. But I'm wondering what he was referring to when he said that. But it was great to see the whole thing on IMAX, and I know some of you guys are going to see it this weekend.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be
Who's
going
going?
Friday. It's out here in Phoenix, so looking forward to that. I'm glad
And I'm
they're
supposed to go
continuing it.
Sunday. Tom and I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great. It's great to see it on the big screen. The audio is tremendous. There's no doubt about it. I'm convinced that there's extra footage at the end, although one of my viewers was arguing that point from Things We Said Today. But I saw other stuff, I believe, in the basement at Apple that I don't believe was in the documentary. And it's so fascinating to see how much they enjoyed doing that concert. They were relieved, and at the same time, nothing but smiles on their faces.
Right.
Like they were having the time of their life. It's,
Yeah.
That
after
or
the
relieved that
narrative-
it was over.
Yeah.
I think
Bit
that
of
they
both.
were,
Right.
I think I used the word exhilarated, really.
Mm.
That's how they looked to me. But
Yeah.
such a joy to see that. And, we saw it in the documentary, them listening to the playback and enjoying that, and George Harrison laughing when John screwed up the words. Don't let me down. I loved watching all that stuff. But anyway, there was an announcement just recently that the actual performance on the Apple Rooftop is now available on streaming platforms, strictly the audio. There's no word about a physical release of that. So I know a lot of people have been listening on Spotify or other platforms. I haven't listened myself, and I've heard that it's not actually totally complete
Hmm.
because it is missing the first take of Get Back, which was a
Okay.
shorter version of that.
Oh, I
But
didn't know that.
I didn't either. No.
there's you know, a lot of people are arguing online that there should be a physical release of this, and I'm certainly in agreement with that. How do you guys feel about that?
Hmm. Well, I made a
Joe?
video about it already.
Right.
Oh,
I'm kind of annoyed that if they're going to put it out at all, to me, I'm a physical media guy. That's in case you couldn't guess by what's around me in the back. To me, just having something to stream or download or whatever they upload, a sideway load or whatever they call it, to me, it's like having air. It doesn't even really exist. It's not there. You can hear it, sure, but I like to have it, a tangible item. Personally, for me anyway, I'm not that crazy about having the rooftop, complete or not, just on audio. For me, the visuals and seeing them doing it
hmm.
is really the main thing. So it's not a total loss for me. 'Cause I'm just kind of happy to see it and see them perform.
Right.
So, but if they're gonna put it out, it'd be nice to have another record in the collection or CD
Yeah, I
Mhm.
if they're
agree.
gonna do it.
I agree. I do have it on the 58 disc bootleg of the Get Back, the January, 69 bootleg series.
Hmm.
I have listened to it and it's fine, but we want the new, remaster. One of the biggest disappointments, maybe the only disappointment from this whole thing, was that we didn't get any soundtrack music from this special that wasn't included in the Let It Be box set from last year.
Hmm.
So I mean, it would
Right.
have been really nice to have gotten some audio from this whole
Yeah,
project.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
a soundtrack album
Right.
Right.
to the Get Back would have been
Right.
cool.
And you know what?
Yeah.
CDs are making a little bit of a comeback. I've
I heard
read,
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we all know vinyl is doing as good as it's done over the last 20 years. So I think it's only smart to to continue releasing physical media because we're going to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the Beatles community. I mean, we're collectors, and we're we like physical media,
Right.
and we will buy it.
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean,
And I agree with
full
Joe.
stop.
I agree with Joe. Streaming is nothing to me. If you don't have the physical aspect of it, then. But
I
sorry,
mean, I
kid.
don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it just to sample something, just to hear
Right.
something, or if it was a movie, like, just want kind of like what you used to do as a rental,
Right.
go to
Mhm.
Blockbuster just to see or hear it one time, fine. But if you want to like have it, I want to have it physically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, because I do a bit of both. I mean, I do a bit of both, but ultimately, I want to own it. And yes, I still prefer having physical copies and having it. And again, I think a lot of Beatles fans
Right.
are collectors, and
Mhm.
I just I think they're really missing the boat here.
I
And I
mean,
think they could. Let's face it, they could make more money
yeah.
if they had it.
Yeah.
And
physical
look
release.
look how many copies of Only Love Remains you have behind you. I mean, look at. I mean, it's
Exactly.
you know,
Look at this. I mean, it's a fortune right behind me.
She decorates her wall with it.
right.
Exactly.
But I'm in total agreement with you guys on this. And I also think that, and just recently we learned that when Get Back was shown on Disney Plus, it did well,
Mhm.
but most of the audience that was watching was 55 plus in
Right.
age. And those people like physical media. They
Right.
don't want MP3s, they don't want streaming. I'm not saying they're all that way, but I'm in agreement with all of you here. And as much as I've praised and will continue to praise the archival box sets that have come out on the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, White Album, Abbey Road, Let It Be was still a disappointment because of all that you could put on it,
Mm.
whether it's bonus audio from those sessions, and they really should have done something with the Apple Rooftop, a CD and a DVD.
Yeah.
And when you think about, and I know we brought this up before with the Let It Be box set, you could fit those 2 CDs of outtakes on 1 CD,
Right.
and then to waste a disc on 4 tracks.
Right.
I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. You could have put a CD on there
Right.
of the Apple Rooftop and include a DVD as
Well,
well.
you know,
Right.
they kind of screwed the pooch too with the Let It Be Naked with that second disc, Fly on the Wall, where those tracks were only 5-10 seconds long.
Yeah.
You know, again, that was a perfect opportunity to give us some of those gems that, you know, that were included in the Get Back special, or
Right.
whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
I just think that the fans, especially the fans that buy the deluxe box sets, they're not going to be fussy. The more you
No.
give them, the more
Right.
they're going to eat it up. They're not going to say, oh,
Mm.
you're giving me 20 discs here of outtakes, and so much of it is garbage. So
Right.
many of those people have bought all the Niagara stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And to get it in better quality, they're not going to complain. I think, you know, you should know who your audience is.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
not sure if Apple knows. And then it's also really difficult to be critical because we don't even know what lies further on down the road if they're planning something anyway.
Right.
And they could put something on the Get Back DVD, Blu-ray, which we'll get to in a moment, or when Let It Be does come out, who knows what they might add to that. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. True.
But anyway, there'll be a number of celebrations going on surrounding the Apple Rooftop concert, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announcing a new exhibit that will open on March the 18th, which is promised to transport fans back to January of 1969 with large-scale audio-visual displays and also a treasure trove of memorabilia on loan from the Beatles themselves. These include original instruments, handwritten lyrics, articles of clothing ranging from Ringo's red raincoat that he wore on the rooftop, George Harrison's very ultra-modern pinstripe suit, and John's granny glasses. Also, Nora Jones just paid tribute by having 2 performances of songs from the Apple Rooftop, which she performed on top of the Empire State Building on her own YouTube channel, those of I've Got a Feeling and Let It Be. Well, the Beatles didn't do Let It Be on the Rooftop, but from that period. And Cirque du Soleil, their performance troupe for the Beatles show Love, debuted a rooftop performance video of their own to a version of Get Back with their own special mix for the song. But the Nora Jones and Love performances can also be seen on the Beatles' own website, if you want to check it out, at thebeatles.com. There was also a rooftop concert special on SiriusXM's Beatles channel with Beatles historian, author, and radio producer Kevin Howlett doing a commentary. Further news here, and this is the upsetting news that I'm sure many of you have heard about, concerning the release of Get Back, the DVD and Blu-ray, which was set for February the 8th. There will be a delay in its release. The Beatles official store has sent out an email to those that ordered it saying there were technical and supply chain issues. We don't have an exact date for its new release yet. And it might interest many of our listeners that a new petition has been started to get Disney to release an extended version of Get Back. So maybe this delay in its release might make some kind of a difference here.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's true.
I was pleased to see that circulating on Facebook
Right.
for
Yeah.
this petition. And who knows, depending upon how long they take, they could easily put,
Yeah.
you know,
But
a
you
few
know,
more
I don't-
hours in.
I think some of us weren't expecting it to come out this soon. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
was surprised in the first place.
I was more expecting it maybe fourth quarter.
Mhm.
You know, for the holidays. You know, I wasn't really
Yeah.
expecting it this early. So
Yeah.
so I mean,
But
if this
they-
is how we get more bonus footage of it, let's all sign that petition, and
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, they'll come through with it.
I can
Mhm.
wait.
Yeah.
I can
But
wait
they-
Yeah,
longer.
no,
They
I don't mind waiting a little longer.
Yeah.
They did give us a February 8th date originally, so
Yes.
they must have really planned it for that time.
Yeah.
Also, last week saw the release of the half-speed mastered vinyl
Yep.
for Wildlife, and Tom and Andy did a whole
Why,
special
Tom,
on
do
that.
you
Yes.
have a
Well, let
copy
me
there?
see here. What do I have in my hands? Yeah. Yeah, I was fortunate enough that, one of my record stores, well, several of my record stores had it, and, I grabbed it. I was able to get a little early, and that's all I'll say. But yeah, I mean, I played it the other day, and it sounds wonderful. It's a very clean, quiet pressing. I don't have a $50,000 stereo system, so I mean, you really can't tell if it sounds any better than the recent, what was it, 18 pressing from the archive. But it sounds just as good, if not better. So I was really happy with this, and I know one of the added attractions have been this movie strip, I guess.
That's the only reason I want
That's
it.
the only reason. But I love that they're doing it pretty much exactly like how it was originally released. You get the one side with Paul's face, and then the other side with Linda in the pool. So great thing. And listen, all of these things are pretty much not in print anymore. So anytime this stuff comes into print, it gives another generation of fans an opportunity to buy it when they didn't have an opportunity, maybe in 2018 when it was released in the archives. So if you give people the opportunity to buy these things, I say the better, fine. But maybe keep them in print a little longer.
Yeah. And one of the fun things about Apple was how they played around with those labels, and you would have different colored apples and different pictures on their albums,
right.
And so it's nice to see that they're continuing with that. And also, as much as I was just talking about the 55 plus with the showing of Get Back, a lot of young people are getting into vinyl and have been for several years. So it's not just the old folks there that want physical media, but I'm glad to see that they're honoring that with these releases.
Right. So it looks like this is going to continue. If they're doing wildlife, then you've got to expect in 2023 we're going to get Retro Speedway, we're going to get Band on the Run. So you got to hopefully expect that this will continue to be a trend.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, a few more news items. There'll be a brand new documentary called The Beatles and India, which will be streaming exclusively on BritBox in North America starting on February the 15th. BritBox is the streaming service from BBC Studios and ITV, offering the largest collection of British TV. This documentary examines, how Indian music and culture shaped the music of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and in turn explores how the Beatles served as ambassadors of this pioneering world music sound and cultural movement. It draws together an expansive archive of footage, including contemporaneous local shooting in India, recordings, photographs, and compelling firsthand interviews, and also Silva Screen Records, in tandem with this documentary, will be releasing a 19-track companion album, The Beatles in India, songs inspired by the film, featuring wondrous interpretations of the Beatles songbook, blending traditional and contemporary Indian influences as recorded and performed by Indian artists, including Anushka Shankar.
Look for my review coming soon to Something Else Review. Seriously, I'm going to be reviewing the film now very soon. Yeah.
Very nice. We're going to be doing something on Things We Said Today about it, possibly next week, and reviewing it and interviewing, I think, the producer for the film. So something to look forward to next week. March 18th is the date as well for a new album from Ray Wiley Hubbard called Co-Starring 2, that's TOO, which will have Ringo drumming on one track. We learned about Colin Hay in our last show, that he's got a new album coming out, and Ringo's on the title track. Ringo's good for that one song,
right?
For all these artists helping him out. So his friends get by with a little help from Ringo. Also, thanks to Darren DeVivo, I learned of a new album that has just come out from Mary Hopkin, which is called Pieces. You can order it at maryhopkin.bandcamp.com. Two more news items here. There's a brand new cover version of Paul McCartney's song On the Wings of a Nightingale, which he first gave to the Everly Brothers for their comeback album EB84. The new version comes from the Whitmore sisters from their new album Ghost Stories. And the two women, Eleanor and younger sister Bonnie, have had busy solo careers, and it took the pandemic actually to get them to record together. Their harmonies are exquisite, and you can get to hear their version of On the Wings of a Nightingale on YouTube.
Cool.
Okay. And finally, a reminder that Ringo Starr's new book called Lifted comes out officially on February 14th, Valentine's Day, sold exclusively through Julian's Auctions. And also don't forget that brand new Yoko Ono tribute CD, Ocean Child Songs of Yoko, comes out on Yoko's birthday, February 18th.
Nice.
And there you go.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. And now we are ready for our topic for this show, which is going to be love songs from the solo Beatles. What we're going to do is we're each going to pick 3 love songs, one by John, 3 by John, 3 by Paul, 3 by George, 3 by Ringo, and see what we come up with. This being close to Valentine's Day. All right, so let's start with John. And Ken, I'm going to go to you first because it seems a lot of times we don't go to you first. So I want to give you the honor this time.
Okay. All right. When it came time to doing this list, John, Paul, and George were so easy for me. But Ringo was the toughest because there's so many songs that I like equally. It's like very tough to say this is my number 1 love song. But these are my top 3 for John. At number 3, I put Out the Blue, which is a song that I think I'm very happy that it's being recognized in recent years, put on compilations of John's. I love the lyrics of the song. Most of what you're going to hear me say throughout the show is that, I'm very much a melody guy. And, the Beatles, all 4 of them, especially John, Paul, and George, are among the greatest melody writers. And that is one of the hallmarks of Beatles music, that you have such strong songwriters that are great at melodies. And that's what grabs me the most. But of course, in a lot of these songs, the lyrics make a huge difference. And certainly in most cases with John, they do. I love the lyrics. I'm just going to read the first verse. Out the blue you came to me and blew away life's misery. Out the blue, life's energy. Out the blue you came to me. And then I especially love the next verse. Every day I thank the Lord and Lady for the way that you came to me. Anyway, it had to be 2 minds, 1 destiny. I love those words right there. Strong song. Love the solo in the middle. I love all the background harmonies, the female harmonies in the background there. Definitely Out the Blue had to be, one of the 3. Okay, number 2, I put Oh My Love, which I think is also a stunning song. It's one of those songs where the lyrics are very simple, but they're really very powerful. And I love, there's a trick that songwriters do. And, I know Paul likes to do this too, in which he'll switch lyrics. He'll do a lyric in one verse and then a lyric which is almost identical in the next verse, but changes 1 word or something. I love that whole technique. And for example, in Oh My Love, it starts off, John sings, I see the wind, oh, I see the trees. Everything is clear in my heart. And then he switches to I see the clouds, I see the sky, everything is clear in our world. I like how it's almost the same, but the words matter right there. And, they're very strong. Every word here and the melody flows so perfectly with the lyrics, just a stunning song. I could say that about all the songs I'm gonna mention here. And my favorite John Lennon love song in his solo career has to be Woman. I mean, even before John was killed, I was strongly affected by the words of Woman. It certainly packed a lot more emotion after he died. But for him to say the things and to be brave enough to say what he said in the song Woman with words like, I will try to express my inner feeling and thankfulness for showing me the meaning of success. I think it takes a lot of courage for a man to say that, especially someone who tried to be macho,
Yeah,
like John
especially
tried to be.
John.
Sure.
Right.
And I love the lyrics, "Woman, I know you understand the little child inside the man." Um, it's one of his apologetic songs, like "I See Sen" or "Jealous Guy,"
Right.
and the melody is just wonderful. The harmonies on it, it's one of those truly perfect songs, and I never ever tire of hearing that song. And we've said many times, and John said it himself, it was like the Beatle track on
Right.
Double
Yeah,
Fantasy. It does have that
sure.
Beatles sound
It
to it.
does, yeah.
One of those
Yeah.
songs that I think from the solo careers of the Beatles that the Beatles could have done, but it was masterfully done anyway, the way that John put it out. So
Yeah.
those are my three from John.
All right, thank you. Well done,
Yeah.
Kit. How about
Hmm.
you?
Well, Kim, we're mostly in agreement. There was this one song where we differed. I too picked "Oh My Love." I just think that is just a beautiful, such an honest song. I mean,
Hmm.
what a tribute to Yoko, and he's so John is so vulnerable in
Mm.
the both Woman and Oh My Love. I mean, saying Oh My Love for the first time in my life, my eyes are wide
Wide
open.
open.
Hmm.
I mean, just opening with that line, I just think is so brave and so honest.
Right.
I mean, one of the criteria I set for these songs is not only, as you said, the melody, the vocals, it, the lyrics, but also very unscientifically, if I heard this, a man sing this to me, would I turn into a pile of goo? Okay. And yes, I would turn into a pile of goo if a man's saying this to
Uh,
me. I mean, what a beautiful tribute. That has always been one of my favorites, and the voice he uses is so tender. And that you don't hear him use that vocal all the time, and definitely. In that period, you didn't hear it as much. I mean, this was right right after Plastic Ono Band, and it just was wonderful to hear that. I also picked Woman because what I love about Woman is not only is it a love song to Yoko, but it's kind of a love song to women in general.
Mhm.
I
Right.
think. I mean, that's what I love about it because he's kind of thanking. I think women, when he sings or actually says at the beginning, the other half of the sky.
Right.
And I mean, I know that's a kind of a nod to Yoko's poetry,
Hmm.
but I think he's also just saying in general, what is a man without his other half, and
Right.
I
Yeah.
just think what a beautiful sentiment. And I think, as you said, Ken, showing his vulnerability and admitting, where would he be without
Right.
her,
Right.
and that his life is better. Um, Absolutely beautiful. As you said, the harmonies are gorgeous. Those
Hmm.
lush harmonies, beautifully produced by Jack Douglas.
Mm.
It's just a beautiful song. The third one I picked, even though it's unfinished, "Grow Old with Me."
Mm.
What a charming, beautiful song. Even though it's heavily based, of course, on poems by Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Um, it just makes you tear up when you hear it. Of
Hmm.
course, partially because he never got to finish it, and so there is that you know cloud hanging over it. But it's also just a lovely lovely song. And Ken, you used that at your wedding, right? Wasn't
That's
that?
true.
Yes.
That's
So
true.
I
Very
mean,
good.
yeah, I remember you mentioning that, and I
Yeah.
thought, of course, why? I mean, why not? It is such a beautiful song about everlasting love. And I just it's just a shame he never got to finish it, because I think it would have been even better. But even as it is, it's just such a simple, sincere love song.
But
I love it.
he did get to finish the composition,
Yes.
which it's just he didn't get to record
Right.
it properly.
Properly.
Right.
Exactly.
But thank God he finished the song itself, because it
Exactly.
still resonates when you hear it even just as a demo. And
Yeah.
then there's the version that George Martin and actually Giles helped out, the one that's on the anthology.
Right. Exactly. It's just so beautiful. Just so moving.
Right.
So, yep. So those are my three.
Okay, kid, I have a question for you though. If you ever turned to goo, would you be the queen of goo? Or you the goo queen as well as other things? That's,
Goo
you
queen.
have that also.
I'll add
on your-
that.
on your-
Yeah,
Might
I'll
as
add
well
that
be.
to my list of titles. The Queen of Goo.
All righty. Tom, take your hands off your nose and let's.
How
go
do I
with your-
follow that?
You got to take every little
Anyways,
cue you can.
yeah,
here.
It's
yeah.
the goo.
Anyways.
It's the
Put it
goo
on-
factor.
It's
The goo factor.
Yeah. Wow. Anyways, well, I mean, ballads could be different things. I mean, they could be, a love song to a fallen friend. They could be a love song to a place like the Mulligan Tire, maybe. They could be sad songs. They could be joyous songs. So I kind of try to stuck with the joyous songs, because this is, close to Valentine's Day. So I wanted to kind of to pick the songs that you could share with your significant other and, and celebrate, your life together and stuff like that. So yeah, the lyrics are definitely a lot of the driving factor in the songs that I picked. And obviously melody is important too, and the mood of the song. I mean, does the instruments capture the moment? Is it something that you could sit with candlelight and flowers and some chocolates, and have a nice romantic evening? And
Sound like a guy that goes to the opera.
Hey, and hey, we're going to the ballet this weekend too. So.
Oh my!
Oh, nice.
He's preparing to do a show on
Yes.
Ocean's Kingdom. That's
Right,
why
there you
he's
go.
going.
Ah,
Better you than me, sir.
But when it came to John, Ken, we matched song for song,
Wow.
just in another order. But yeah, Woman, I just love the way that John expresses his gratitude and his, it kind of, to Yoko, and yeah, it almost kind of is like an apology too. And Kid, I like what you said about maybe it's a song just for women in general, which again is a great way to look at these songs too. I mean, can you interpret it differently as well? I mean, is it just about a person, or can it be, how can the other half sing this song too and have it make sense? Can it go vice versa? But Woman is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, I just love the ending. I love the I love yous at the end, and those, yeah, now and forever. I think that's just a great ending to celebrate your significant other, whether you're doing a slow dance or something like that. It's just a wonderful song. Oh My Love, again, a song that is set, the mood is set right at the beginning with George's guitar licks. I mean, that just cries to me, passion and rawness, and just, expressing your feelings for your loved one. And, it's just I've always been so moved by that song. And, and you guys have already talked about some of the lyrics in there, and, but the one that's really always stuck out to me, and it's the one that we had our first dance at our wedding, and that was out the blue. I want to make sure there's don't put the oven there, because it's not.
I always do that. Always do that.
Right.
Twicking them, not twicking
I know,
him, so
that's right. You got to make sure everything is right. But Out the Blue is again my favorite John ballad. I just love the story in there, and again, John is does it so well, telling his and Yoko's story in a lot of his songs. He's put, we've always talked about him being an open book, but the thing is that this could be for anybody. He's giving this song to us to give to our significant other and let them know how we feel. He's kind of being brave enough for us as well, because not everybody can just pour their feelings out as well as he does in this song, and others, and same with "Oh My Love" as well. So I just love those three songs. They move me, and when we do play them, we sing them together, and stuff like that. And it was just so fun that we were able to have our first dance to "Out the Blue." So yeah, those
Very
three
cool.
songs are
Very nice.
are excellent. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now for myself, well, I match also with Tom and with Ken. Uh,
Wow.
I picked the same three songs, but sadly though, John doesn't have many songs in the solo career that I mean, there's other ones I thought of too, but these are my favorites, I guess. It's just that it's too bad he wasn't around a lot longer to have even more choices. I mean, there's other ones I could have picked. These are my favorites. I don't have much to add, really. Woman. I like the fact that, as John said, it's to Yoko, but it's to all women. And he did mention that bit about the intro, the other half of the sky,
Right.
because of that. So he did say that in one of his last interviews. So that's good to have that kind of confirmation. And somebody was asking, is it also Cynthia and Aunt Mimi and everyone else? I guess since it's all women, I also an ode to all women. I
Yeah.
guess they qualify as well, right?
Yep.
So yeah, what a beautiful song. And it's funny that, I didn't love it as much when it came out as I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I do now back then. That's just song that's just gotten better and better and more important to me and sentimental for me and touching to me as I've gotten older. So I just think it's one of his best songs, also in his canon.
Mm.
Oh My Love, yeah, it's great. It's still listed, I think, as a co-write with Yoko.
It is.
Mhm.
That song, Oh My Love, and George, of course, the fact that he kind of plays along, and it also just has a little bit of notoriety added to it. Even if it hadn't been George, I love the song anyway. It's so beautiful. It's simple, but yet it's so effective and powerful. And yeah, Out the Blue also. Yeah, we always liked that song. From first time I heard that, when I first heard the Mind Games album, and I like how honest he is, and even talking about his pain in there, saying, "All my life has been a long, slow knife."
Hmm.
He says, "I was born just to get to you. Anyway, I
Mm.
survived long enough to make you my wife."
Mm.
It's really nice. That's a goosebumpy, that end part,
Right.
Goo
Yeah.
So there
factor.
you go.
Yeah.
That's that's John for me. Oh, I'm turning into goo. Gotta, gotta, I have to watch it.
Hmm.
Yep.
All right, let's go on to George now. And I think for George, let's start with Tom this time.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, George again. I love his ballads, but you know, we know there's a lot of the spirituality. I know I'm mispronouncing that, but
It
I can't.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a lot of spiritualness to a lot of his ballads, and I think we'll probably touch upon some of them. But I did try to. He does it really well, where you can consider it, also towards a person as well. It just, I think he's very clever that way with some of his ballads. But for me, the first stuff I have first track off of his, first official regular, if you want to call it, solo album, I'd Have You Anytime, which I think is one of his more powerful ballads, and I think it's the tone is set perfectly by that wonderful guitar bit that opens that song. I think that's Clapton that does that guitar intro.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, lyrically, I think let me in here. I want I just love that whole bit. All I have is yours. All you see is mine. I love that. I love that bit too. Just offering all of him to that person, and that's always been very moving to me. And I love that it opens the album too. I'm usually prefer there's a good hard rock song to open an album,
Mhm.
but this is just so unexpected to and Paul did it too with I Don't Know on Egypt Station, but to open a song, open an album with that was really surprising. You know say what you will about extra texture, but and I know it's very repetitive, but sometimes repetitive is good. And then in this case, it's I Can't Stop Thinking About You, which is the main focus of the song, and I get that. But sometimes you find yourself, if you're someone like me who has traveled a lot for work, okay, and you're away from your significant other, something like this pops up all the time. If you miss your wife or your husband, and if you're a George fan, this song is great. Because there's a lot of times where I couldn't stop thinking about my wife, when I'm out on the road. So this song really was a big help for me when I was away for a week or 2 weeks, working and stuff like that. So I'll always be grateful to this song, and just that line, "Can't Stop Thinking About You." And I don't care if he would have repeated that another 50 times, you know.
Mm.
But I have a question for you, Tom. I have
Yeah.
to get this in. But the
Yeah.
question is, when you think of it about your wife, like, do you sound like you're in pain? Like, do you
Right,
go,
I know.
"Can't stop thinking about you"?
Oh,
For shame, Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just having fun, folks.
Okay.
Hardy,
Right.
oh
Right.
man.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the thing. We can laugh at his vocals on that one.
It's
It's
a
fine.
private joke between Tom and
Yes,
I,
that's
folks.
right.
That's all.
Yeah.
You know, but again, to some people that might be a throwaway track, but there's a song that just hits you at the right time, in the right place, the right
Yeah,
situation,
sure.
and you just connect to it. And that song, connected to me for the situation I was in. So, but my favorite George ballad is "Beautiful Girl." Again, I just love that. It's blatant. It's beautiful. Never seen such a beautiful girl. That's a great way when you first meet someone, and you want to kind of like woo her a little bit, and just you never seen such a beautiful girl. That's just a great way to kind of maybe break the ice or something like that. I love all the lyrics to that song. It's just a great job, and it's just fun. Ballads don't have to necessarily be slow, and they can be a little bit upbeat as well. And I'm grateful for the song for being a little upbeat. It's not your normal slow kind of pace song, which those are great too. But this is kind of more of a feel good, happy song, and I've always got a big smile on my face when I hear this one from George. So yeah, "Beautiful Girl," "Can't Stop Thinking About You," and "I'd Have You Anytime" would be my three from George.
I tell you,
Interesting.
Tom, look, I have to say, I'll put myself out there. Talk about repetitive words. I love Check My Machine.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Bip Bop.
Mhm.
What does that tell you?
Right, right.
All right.
Mm.
So now, with that, we'll go on to Ken.
Okay, excellent choices there, Tom.
Thanks.
My number 3 choice is "Your Love Is Forever,"
Mm.
which is so absolutely gorgeous, that song from the George Harrison album. I love the words in it. I love the very simple melody. It's so laid back. And kind of like what we discussed about the Gon Troppo album and sometimes the George Harrison album, there is that feeling of like you're on a tropical island, and you're really relaxing, and you're on the beach, and it's just so soothing, a song like that. And this is one where I absolutely love the words. It starts sublime in the summertime, warm and lazy. These are perfect days like heaven's about here. But unlike summer came and went, your love is forever. I feel it and my heart knows that we share it together. But I especially love the last few words here. I feel it and my heart knows you're the one, the guiding light in all your love shines on, the only lover worth it all. Your love is forever. Just beautiful words. And sometimes simple words work really well in driving home the point of what you're trying to say. The slide guitar work that George does is absolutely exquisite. I mean, I'm just thinking about that word, the first verse, sublime. It's a sublime
Yeah,
song.
it fits the
I
song.
Yeah.
yeah, I just absolutely adore that song. And also, even though Dark Sweet Lady is not in my top three, to have those two songs back to back, two great love songs there. Oh, it's one of my favorite moments of the George Harrison album.
Mm.
My number two song is Learning How to Love You, which is another one that's very slow, very different to me melodically. It's got like a very light jazz feel, which we've talked about from time to time. There was a period, I sometimes think it started during the Dark Horse album. There are certain songs like Far East Man that have kind of jazz overtones to it, a light jazz feel. And Learning How to Love You is like that. The melody is very different. It goes in a different direction. I love the acoustic guitar solo in the middle. It's such a gorgeous song, and it's one of those that is just completely overlooked in George Harrison's catalog, and shouldn't be. Um, great lyrics in this song. While all is still in the night and silence starts its flow, become or disbelieve me, left alone with my heart. I'm learning how to love you. All the lyrics of the song are absolutely beautiful. I would definitely recommend everyone watching the show. If you don't know these songs, check them out. You can
Right.
always go on YouTube
Right.
anytime.
Yep.
And my favorite love song, which is one that I praise to death, and this was one of my wedding songs, is That Is All.
Mm.
That Is All closes living in the material world. It's an absolutely gorgeous melody. The words are very simple. They flow so well and they say so much. That is all I want to say. Our love could save the day. That is all I'm waiting for, to try and love you more. And I also love the bridge. Times I find it hard to say with useless words getting in my way. Silence often says much more than trying to say what's been said before. Love those words right there. The melody's great. I love George's vocals. It goes real high in that
Yeah.
song. And yeah, to me, if this was a song that was really promoted and made into a single, it could have become a standard, much like Something has been a standard.
Right.
It's just a matter of whether or not the public knows it, whether they're familiar with it. It's truly one of his greatest songs. And even he kind of, in his book, I Mean Mine, was kind of writing it off. The lyrics and melody came to me. That is all. He didn't say too much about it, but it's a gorgeous, absolutely amazing song. So those are my
Agreed.
top three.
All right, Ken. Thank you. And Kit, how about you?
All right. Well, I'll give a shout out to Farrell McNulty watching, because he listed his songs and mine are exactly the same. So Farrell,
Wow.
we're
right.
on the same page. And you guys mentioned some of the same ones as well. So Dark Sweet Lady would be my number three. That is a beautiful song, has such a Hawaiian kind of feel to it. And, obviously a tribute to Olivia. And what a tribute it is. It's, clearly thanking her for, kind of saving him. And I think, she pretty much did. I think we've talked about it before on this show that, he went through kind of a dark period after he and Patty split up. I mean, what beautiful words. My dark sweet lady, you really got to me, you gave me everything. I've really fallen. You came and helped me through when I let go. You come from out of the blue. never have known what I'd done without you. I mean, it's just you know, obviously he credited her for, you know, bringing him back from the brink, and I think she did. And it's just such a tender song. I love the arrangement. As I said, I love that gentle. I mean, you can almost feel the island breeze when when you you hear that song, and it's just such a lovely, lovely tribute to Olivia. Um, you can just feel his love for her in that song. So I've always loved that. Learning How to Love You is my number two. Love that song. I agree with you, Ken. That is so underrated. It's another song too that it's one of his. Could be spiritual, could be romantic, but whatever it is, I love it. As you said, has a light jazz kind of feel to it. And I just, pile of goo time when you when you when you hear lyrics like these. Love you like you may have never been, move you more ways than you've ever seen, to a point in the time when we see so much more than the ground that we touch with each step so unsure. I'd be like, okay, George.
You're melting, kid. I can see it.
It's dripping.
This is it. This is it.
What a world! What a world!
Oh man! So I mean, it's those are some good lines. But it's it's just a beautiful, beautiful song, and from a wonderful album that I adore. And number one, I'd Have You Anytime.
Wow.
I love, first of all, Tom, as you said, great way to start the whole album. Which normally, as you said, you would think, you should start it out with like My Sweet Lord or something, something to really charge in there. And no, but it really works. I mean, with that wonderful slide guitar and even, I love even the words "let me in here."
Right.
Just even starting out that, drawing you into the album. But I mean, wow, let me into your heart. Let me know you. Let me show you. Let me roll it to you.
Right.
Ooh, I mean, it's just beautiful. Yeah, it's getting hot in here. And yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just such a romantic song. And I've just always loved it. And his vocals on all these songs are just so sincere. You believe every word he's singing. And I just have loved all three of these.
Yeah. Also, give some credit to Bob Dylan too, because
yes, indeed. Yes, they wrote that. Co-wrote that one together. Indeed.
Yep.
Well, it's one thing when you're moderating and you go last. Sometimes it's very repetitive. I mean, I have two from the self-titled George Harrison album, "Dark Sweet Lady." I think it's such a pretty song, and musically, it's wonderful. I love the lyrics. I have them written down here by hand, but you said them already, kid. I like how it's about having fallen, and then coming from out of the blue, love comes to help him through, that kind of stuff. It's a gorgeous song. Also from that album, "Your Love Is Forever." And with George, so many times his songs can be taken either way. As far as spiritually, is it about God or a higher being? Is it about the woman that he loves? But both. Take it the way you want. And it does have a tropic island feel. I have that, yeah. And the guitar's so sweet. I love it. And "Beautiful Girl," maybe my number one. There we go. We agree on that one, Tom. And that was started back in the late Beatles days, right? If I know what I'm talking about. I said one line inspired by Patty originally, and then by '76, George said then it was more like for Olivia. But there was a little bit of a few years into that song before it was recorded the final way that it came out to be.
Well,
I find that
you've
really
got the
Yeah.
demo
The
for that
demo
on
on
All
All
Things
Things
Must
Must
Pass.
Pass. Yep.
Right.
all things must pass. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, and then I want to throw this in here because I've always thought this. I'm gonna like cheat and throw another one in here. The song "Life Itself,"
Oh
which is on
yeah.
somewhere in England, and that's really about God in different forms. It's hey, we said love songs, didn't say love songs for whom, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, I always liked that song. Somewhere in
Love it.
England always gets forgotten a lot and put over to the side. But I've always enjoyed that song, and it's unconventional kind of love. So it's not. I mean, it's not. You know, I was going to say not very slow. It is really kind of, but it's got a little bit more of a build up to it than your typical stuff like your love is forever is kind of really mellow, for example, something like that. Tom, what do you got? I thought you were going to get a book on
You
Oh,
see,
no,
life
no, no,
itself
no, 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 no.
because I know you have everything at your fingertips all the
I,
time.
Oh,
So
I love
just
that. I love the life itself.
Hmm.
so I wanted to just like as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I want to throw that in there.
Mhm.
All right. Now, I say we save Paul for last because he's got such a catalog,
Yes,
and I think we should.
that was hard. That was hard to
Yeah.
narrow him
Yeah.
down.
Oh man, but you can always change it around a little bit. I mean,
Yep.
if I do my three favorites all the time by Paul, it'll be the same
right.
three.
Yeah.
But there's so many favorites. But with Ringo, um, I don't know if it's putting you on the spot or not, Kit, but I have you listed down first for Ringo. So,
Well,
what do
thank
you
you,
have for
Joe.
Ringo? Sometimes it helps to I know from when I'm not a moderator, hang in there, and so I hope I have a little more time to think of stuff.
No, I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a little tougher. It was interesting going through his catalog because, he didn't really, he didn't always do like traditional love songs all the time. I mean, it was, a little tougher. So a couple of them, well, actually, no, one of them I picked. He didn't. It's more about it's a cover. Um, only you.
Mhm.
Because
Oh,
I mean, it's a cover of a standard, but he does it, in such a charming kind of way that I wouldn't say it has a goo factor, but it's cute. It's charming in its own way, and and it shows that he, like, of course, when he did the Sentimental Journey album, he has great respect for the standards, and so and so many of them were romantic. So I, really like that. I also picked "Me and You" from Choose Love. I
Wow.
thought that, yeah,
mm.
thought that was
which
kind
I
of an
can't e- which I can't even recall. Even though I'm pretty familiar with his catalog, I can't recall that right now.
yeah. It's really kind of a sweet song. Saying that he knows he's screwed up in the past with this.
I'm noticing a lot of love songs that
They
have
have that.
that kind of
Yeah.
sentiment in there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very much
Cool.
like that, saying, no need to tell you what we've been through. I'm speaking from my heart tonight. Maybe this time I will get it right. And darling, this is true. It's me and you. And it's really a sweet song, as he's also saying, you're my best friend. You've always been by my side, and we've been through good times and bad, and it's always been me and you. Co-written with Mark Hudson and I forget who else. There were a couple of other co-writers. But
Gary Burr, Steve
yeah,
Dudas.
yeah, yep, and just really just kind of a straightforward. We've been through it all, but it's I still love you, and I'll try to do better, and it's down to the two of us. Just a really kind of a typical Ringo kind of love song, but it's charming. It's
I
charming.
think a couple of the ones I picked that are different have the same kind of
Yeah,
idea behind them.
it is.
Mm.
It's sort of
That's okay.
but
Nothing
that's
wrong.
fine. I mean, that's kind of his theme. And number one, I'd say, is Tonight from Bad
Ah,
Boy.
nice.
Yeah, I kind of like
I'm
that
gonna
one.
hit
I like that I
that one.
have, and I mean, and I don't care if some people in the comments are going to say ugh, but it has a little disco feel, but I
Great.
like that. But
Oh,
I
it's
like
great.
that it has a little disco
Mhm.
feel to
Right.
it. You know, I mean, it was of the time, but it's not like an obnoxious, you know, disco. And I like disco, so I don't care. But I, you know, it has just a little bit, and I like that it has a little bit of a, like, it's not a total straightforward love song. It has a little longing to it,
Mm,
you know, that he's saying, you know, I can't believe, are you
Right.
really here with
Here,
me tonight?
right.
Am
Mm.
I going to wake up and it's not you? And, you know, maybe you'll be gone, but
Right.
I really hope it's, you know, you here with me tonight. You know, I mean, it's just, I think his voice sounds terrific on this too.
Mm.
You know, it's just always been one of my favorite deeper maybe Ringo cuts. You know, I think it should have been a, you know, maybe a bigger hit single than it was, because I think it fit the time pretty well. I mean, I think it, you know, the sound and the feel of the
Mhm.
time, and you know, it's a shame that it didn't do, you know, didn't do very much. But
Yeah.
but I think, you know, I like that, as I said, it's not a total straightforward love song, because it, as I said, it does have this little kind of longing and unsure kind of
Right.
feeling
Doubt.
quality to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I said, I think he sounds great on this. I think his voice sounds terrific. So those are my three.
Mm.
Hmm.
All
Very
righty.
interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I got, Lisa? Tom, I have you next.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say Ringo was maybe a little tougher, but then, you know, if you know some of the songs, maybe it's not as tough. But I tried to put some of the ones that he co-wrote with. But you know, I had to pick some of the covers. One of the
Yeah.
ones was a cover, you know. But my number three is Magic. Still love that from What's My Name. It's got a great piano intro. It's you know, Steve Lukather. I mean, some of his best guitar playing is on that track, in my opinion. You know, I love the opening chorus. We were taking a summer stroll, the ocean seemed blue. You know, you were holding my hand, feet in the sand like lovers do. You know, simple Ringo isms in there, you know, and it's romantic. Again, it's something you can share with your significant other, and you know, it's again, it's a nice upbeat tempo.
I was going to say a little more
Yeah,
active
right.
song.
Yeah, exactly.
That almost made my list.
Right.
Almost.
And guess
Yeah.
what? I forgot. It's like one of my very favorite Ringo albums, and I didn't even think of it.
Right. Another one, my number two, I guess I'm going to change.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. You know, love songs can be sad too. And I love Wrong for So Long. Again, you know, it starts off as a, you know, as a great love story, you know, two people meet, and you know, and then it ends with, you know, not so good. But the, you know, Wrong for So Long, I mean, a lot of relationships don't work. You know, you think they're perfect, but again, they just, unfortunately, they don't work in the long run. But you might have some still good memories about how perfect it first seemed, you know, like he sings in the song. You know, the meeting, it was just so passionate and powerful. You know, you're getting along so well at the beginning, and then it just, you know, just unfortunately falls apart at the end. But another great one from Ringo. And Kit, we're on the same level here. Tonight is I think really my favorite Ringo ballad at this moment in time and space and whatever you want to call it. You know, these lists always change, you know, as they do. But yeah, Tonight, I love the feel. I love, you know, like, you know, the kind of doubt. I mean, he's not sure. I mean, is he really here? Everything that you said about that, Kit, I thought that was great. You know, and it's just the whole, you know, the chorus. Is it really, you know, are you really here with me tonight? You know, just a lot of fun. Is it really you here? Sorry. But yeah, and you know, fun little video to go with it. I loved that, and I love how close they were sitting on the couch and dancing. You know, so again, this is something you can share with a significant other, and you know, just have a nice night with it. You know, a little slow dance, candlelight, flowers. You know, and you know, so yeah. So I got Tonight, Wrong for So Long, and Magic as my three.
You're so romantic.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
you know.
I'm the romantic. All right.
Nice.
All right. All right, Ken, you're up.
Such interesting choices here. I
Mm,
love it. This was really difficult for me because there's
mm,
so many songs that I consider to be kind of equal. It's not like I can
mm.
say this one really stands out
Stands
above
out.
all the
Yeah.
others. And also with Ringo, it's like you've got the idea of love being part of the song, but it may not be just the focal point of the song. It's mentioned somewhere in the
Right.
lyrics. So I also wrestled with the fact that we all have a definition of what a love song is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like you were saying, Tom, you could have a sad love song.
Right.
Does a love song have to be romantic?
Right.
Does it have to be about someone who's alive?
Right.
I mean, I was questioning whether or not Photograph is a love song.
Mm.
Would you consider that a love song?
In a way, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Lyrically,
I
yeah.
said, everybody has their own interpretation
Right.
of what a love song is. And I also remember that when the Beatles compilation came out of love
Mm.
songs, there are a lot of people who are complaining that certain songs in there are not really love songs. It all depends
Right.
upon how you look at it.
Right.
But these are the ones that I came up with, and there's other honorable mentions here that are just as good. But I
Sure.
thought that
Me too.
"I'll Still Love You" should be in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
That's
That's
nice.
one
That
that
was
George
a.
Harrison wrote, and
Yes.
kind of like "Beautiful Girl" dates back to that period of All Things Must Pass, and George was considering giving it to Cilla Black. And I know in his book he was mentioning he thought of Leon Russell and his wife, giving it to them as well, and ended up going to Ringo on Ringo's Rotogravure. And it sure sounds like a George Harrison song all the way, whether it's the chord progressions, whatever. Very simple words. When every song is sung, when every bell's been rung, when
Right.
every picture's hung, I'll still love you. No matter what's going on in your life, while certain things end, you'll still be there.
Right.
And I love that sentiment. And even the lead guitar solo, which isn't George, I think it's Jesse Davis, really sounds a lot like a George Harrison lead guitar solo.
Yeah.
So it's just simply a very beautiful song that has always resonated with me. The Beatles knew how to write very well for Ringo, all of them. And
And I
that's
like the mix. Sorry, George. I like the mix.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. George didn't care for that
Yeah.
mix, did he?
Was it the
Yeah,
mix or the
he sued-
arrangement?
I thought
I-
it was a mix.
I don't know the full story behind that,
Yeah.
but I know that he was suing Ringo and dropped the
Yeah.
lawsuit.
Watch the that wonderful Aspel and Company.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be
Isn't-
more. It'll be in detail in the Doggett book. You never give me your money.
But they talk about George and Ringo were
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah,
they don't
they're
give
not.
the
They don't go into
details.
detail though.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
says I did the mix. He didn't like the mix. That's
Uh,
that's it.
Oh, all right.
Right.
That's reason to sue your friend.
Yeah.
I
Touchy,
don't know.
touchy.
From someone who just got a lawsuit about My Sweet Lord,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, grumpy old George.
Yep.
Anyway, this is one song that I have to include. I'm always praising it, and that's "Gave It All Up"
Hmm.
from Ringo the Fourth. As I've said many times, that to me that's a very significant album because it was the first really big step for Ringo as a
Right.
songwriter, having co-written 6 of the 10 songs of Vinnie Poncia on the album. And just like you were saying earlier, Joe, there are certain songs where Ringo's talking about the mistakes he made in his life and that he's cleaning himself up. And then that's kind of what this song is. It's one of those songs that you could sing in a bar, lift your mug up. I gave it all up.
Especially in a bar.
Yes.
He
Every
sounds-
couple of years.
Unfortunately, I love the song to death. Ringo's vocals aren't that great. He sounds like he's in a bar singing it.
Yes, he
But I
does.
love it. I
And-
love that about it. I love that about it.
Yeah, it works on that level. But no matter what he's talking about, all the mistakes he made in his life, in the very end, he gave it all up for his woman. And what is that? The verse here? It's at the very end. So I sit here with a couple of beers,
Yes.
wondering how I've lasted all of these years. You're beside me and it's feeling so right. How I'd like to thank you for the rest of my life because I gave it all up. I gave it all up for you. And, all these melancholy songs. Ringo is so good at melancholy, but I really love that one. That's one
Mm.
that has always stood out for me. And um, I have to give an honorable mention to Photograph because I would probably put that
Right.
at number one, considering what a classic song it is. It's a sad song, about
Yeah.
someone who's not coming back and all you've got is a photograph. I wasn't sure if you wanted this to be all romantic about someone in your present life, but on that level, as a sad song, it really should be mentioned. And my number one choice, though, overall, it's another wedding song of mine,
There you go.
and that's You Never Know.
Right.
You Never Know is a song that is very obscure in Ringo's catalog. It was used in the movie Curly Sue with Jim
Mm.
Belushi, starring Jim Belushi, and it was played during the end credits. And it's a song that was actually written by John Bettis and Steve Dorff. And John Bettis is a really great lyricist who's written many hits for the Carpenters. He also, well, you probably know, Kit, wrote the lyrics for Human Nature
Oh, yes.
for Michael Jackson, Crazy for You for Madonna. And Steve Dorff wrote a lot of country hits for people like Kenny Rogers and George Strait. And together, John Bettis and Steve Dorff also wrote the theme to Growing Pains, as long as we got each other. Is this too much information?
No.
But and Steve Dorff is also the father of Steven Dorff, the actor who
the
played
actor.
I wondered
Stu
if there was a
Sutcliffe.
relation. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
and he played Stu Sutcliffe in Backbeat.
yeah.
So,
6
but the
degrees of
song itself,
separation.
yeah, the song is one of those songs about you never know what to expect in life.
Yeah.
There's always some surprises that will come your way. Let me just start by reading one of the verses. You'll never see exactly where the road will lead you, and when it comes to love, you gamble when you need to. You'll maybe break your heart on one unlucky throw, but then again, you never know. Towards the end, the conclusion here, I never saw exactly where the road would lead me. One day I woke to find somebody needs me. I thought I'd take luck as far as it would go, but then again, you never know.
Hmm.
So it's about love and it's a great melody. It's right in Ringo's range, vocal range, great whistling at the very end. And it's a very memorable song. And it's, as we've said a million times here on this show, if that song was released in the early 70s from Ringo, it could have been a very big hit for him.
Yeah.
Instead, it gets scattered,
Was
at the very end of a movie.
was that Curly Sue soundtrack ever released on physical media? Was it an album and
I'm
or
pretty
CD?
sure I think there was a CD for it.
Well, was okay. I'll have to look
Yeah.
it up for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
those
that-
are my three plus
Oh.
Photograph.
Oh, all right. Oh boy, I've got some interesting picks here. I was thinking of those, but I was trying. I don't know, I was trying to like go more newer or something. I don't know why, but I like just about all those you mentioned. Let's see now. First one I have here is "Imagine Me There"
Hmm.
for Ringo, which is
Nice.
on. I know Ringo Rama.
Great.
I get that mixed up sometimes. And again, it's about through tough situations. Co-written with, I think, I have written down here Mark Hudson and Gary Burr. But it's again a situation where, like, whenever Ringo is very soothing and gentle, and whenever you go through hard times, whatever, imagine me there, And then I think later on, after he repeats several times, imagine me there, I think he says, imagine you there, if I'm not mistaken. And I've always liked that song. I think that's a nice little sweet song from Ringo, or one of the authors of the three. Then I have, well, there's a couple that I think I got like four. I'm trying to which one to go with. Let's go for "Show Me the Way," and it's not to be confused with Peter Frampton's "Show Me the Way," which is "Give
Different
More
A
song.
Love."
little different.
Right.
Yeah. Steve Lukather again with Ringo, and he was saying it's about Barbara, 37 years with ups and downs, but there's so much support. Nevertheless, she shows me the way. So I think that I like the words of that song a lot. Then I was thinking of "Walk with You"
Yeah.
as a love song from Why Not, and
Mhm.
it's got Ringo singing along with Paul really with Ringo. It's a kind of a what you say duet. I mean, it's two of them.
A bit. Only
bit,
on
not
the
yeah.
chorus,
exactly right
really.
on.
Yeah.
I like that bit in the song where they kind of overlap each other.
Yeah.
You know, Ringo starts singing, then Paul sings a little bit late, and so on.
Right.
Right.
I love that. And the two of them, it's a love song though. But I even think because they're friends and they're singing together, it could be about buddies as well as
Mm.
being
Hmm.
with your significant other. So I really like that. And I threw in another one though. It's a song called "For Love." That's it's off Liverpool 8, and it's with Mark
Oh
Hudson
yeah.
when he still
Hmm.
was with him, and it's like,
Yeah.
but that's a little more, I don't know, all over the place. It's not. It's kind of irregular, the beat of it and the sound of it. Everybody ought to know love is not like in a picture show. When you know, you really know. And then he'll get his lyrics like, "Yeah, there'll be good and bad days." Again,
Hmm.
but you'll always come back, to me and stuff like that. So it's another song for love, which is kind of like hidden away on off the Liverpool 8 album. There's so many songs that if I was to revisit a lot of these Ringo albums, I find, oh, that's not a bad one. And there's a lot of songs about love around that era. Ringo writes a lot of songs about love, peace and love kind of thing
Hmm.
too, not just you know for a significant other. All right, so I did that pretty quick, I think.
Sure.
I'm trying to
No
move
one
it
mentioned
on.
who's your daddy.
No, no, no. Unfortunately,
What about spooky weirdness?
spooky weirdness, simple love song. How about simple love song?
I
Yeah.
love simple love song. Actually,
There you
that's an
go.
honorable mention. I got to put that
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I've had a few here, and I was thinking of I'll still love you as well.
Yeah, I was
Actually,
thinking of,
Mhm.
Never Without You as well. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a great love
Hmm.
yeah,
song
yeah,
to
Yep.
George.
sure. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now we're up to Paul, Mr. Paul, because he's got
Mm.
so much stuff. And I always wonder who am I going to ask first for Paul. Ooh. I think I want to do Kit first with Paul. Go ahead,
Oh
Kit.
boy. Okay. Boy, was this tough to narrow it down. I mean,
Mm,
the love songs he's written, my goodness. Well, um, I mean, big time go factor with Paul. I mean, let's face it. Let's see. Well, I don't know if I could even rank these. I mean,
Mm.
they're all so good.
It's tough.
I mean,
It
it
really
it
is.
really is.
I
So
can't rank him.
yeah, I don't know if I can possibly rank these, so I may just have to mention them. Calico Skies.
Mm.
I
Mm.
love Calico Skies. I mean, come on. It was written that I would love you from the moment I opened my eyes, and the morning when I first saw you gave me life under calico skies. I will hold you for as long as you like. I'll hold you for the rest of my life. I mean, wow.
Hmm.
I mean, melt. I mean, it's just so beautiful and it's so simple. I mean, just with the acoustic guitar, and I think there's some strings, as I recall. I mean, it's just a lovely, lovely song. And of course, when Flaming Pie came out, I think it that had even more meaning, because we knew Linda
Right.
was ill, and so these songs took on even more meaning, because you can't help but think he must have had some of this in the back of his mind as he was writing,
Hmm.
some recording, some of these tracks. It's just such a beautiful, delicate song, and I just um, I just love it. It's just one of his sweetest, most sincere songs. Um, I also picked, and it's kind of a sentimental favorite because I just remember it so well from when it came out. No More Lonely Nights.
Mm.
I love No More Lonely Nights. I just think it's
Hmm.
I've always loved the opening lines. I can't wait another day until I call you. You've only got my heart on a string and everything aflutter. I mean, I just such a sweet, sweet line, and the chorus. The way it builds up to that crescendo in that chorus. No More
Hmm.
Lonely Nights. Yeah, and of course that
Yeah.
David Gilmour guitar solo
Ah,
is even
Yep.
better.
butter.
So it's got this rock, this
Goo.
ballad has
Yeah.
this like rock edge to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like that's just the cherry on top.
In the 80s, you would call that a power ballad.
A power ballad, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a great one because you've got those wonderful Paul melodies, and then you've got this power ballad aspect to it. But it's just and you've got Paul that they had that that beautiful, he has that sweet voice that goes along with it. Just I just always loved that song, and I think you can guess. By my background.
Hey.
Only Love Remains. One of the best, an underrated Paul ballads. I just have, for the first time I heard this song on Press to Play, I just thought this is one of his all-time best. I just love, and the video is great too. Showing a couple kind of aging together, just saying when it comes down to it, no matter what, only love remains. I mean, it's just how else can you say it? And it's kind of like No More Lonely Nights. Starts out sort of quietly and then builds to that emotional crescendo and then goes back down. It's just it's majestic. It's it's sincere. It's beautiful. I've just always loved it, and I think it was an adult contemporary hit. I think it was
it
on
went
the
top 10 adult contemporary.
Adult contemporary. And it's a shame that it didn't make it really on the pop charts, because I think it was a hit that should have been. It was a beautiful, beautiful song. So those are my
plenty
three.
of those.
Yep. Absolutely.
Plenty of hits that should have been.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that three that you did?
Yes. Yep. I did three.
Okay. My memory.
That's all right.
It's almost
Maybe
full.
It's full.
Yeah.
It's almost there. I'll tell you one thing: Only Love Remains sure isn't underrated on this show. That's for
No.
Okay, Tom, how about you?
Well, there have been many, many wonderful balladeers, if that's what you want to call them, through the history of ballads. I think of Al Green, I think of Lionel Richie, Barry Gibb, Neil Diamond to an extent as well. And many, many, many. Barry White. I mean, the list is endless, when it comes to ballads, but I don't think anybody does them better than Paul. I just really think, the words, and the melody, well, especially the melody. I mean, he's king, when it comes to these songs. And the first one I have is from Chaos and Creation, and that's This Never Happened Before. First of all, before I talk about that, I should say that I kind of gave myself a challenge, and it wasn't really a challenge, really, when it comes to think about it, though. But I didn't want to go with the three usual. I didn't want to go with Maybe I'm Amazed, My Love, and No More Lonely Nights. I just think that, I mean, no offense, Kit, for picking No More Lonely Nights, but I just thought it was just too easy. I mean, those are wonderful songs. Don't get me wrong; they're some of his best of all time. I just wanted to give some attention to some other ballads that have meant a lot to me over the years, and one of them is This Never Happened Before. I love the opening piano bit. I love the orchestration that follows behind it, and I just lyrically, I think it's one of his best ballads. I just love the this is the way it should be for lovers. They shouldn't go it alone. It's not so good when you're on your own. And I love the opening chorus. I love all this. I'm very sure this never happened before bit. I just, again, I'm goo when I hear this stuff. It's pretty impressive when a guy can make another guy goo when sing
See?
But the thing is it also can, a woman can sing the song to a guy. I mean, it's just not, a guy singing it to a girl. So, again, it could be interpreted, all over. But yeah, I mean, it's just very romantic, and you see him on that Chaos and Creation DVD. If you ever got the two-disc set where you got the CD and you got the DVD of the making of Chaos and Creation, where he's doing it, and he's got the candle on the piano, and it's really dark, and he's doing the tone is set, and it's just perfect. When he's doing that on that, and I think it was like one of the first songs I recorded for the album. Kit. And absolutely agree with Calico Skies. We were, my wife and I, we incorporated into our wedding vows, the first two verses anyways. So yeah, so that was great. You know, I've always loved I'll hold you for as long as you like, I'll love you, you know, for the rest of my life. I mean, that's it. That's the song for me. Although I do love the two opening courses. I mean, sorry, verses. Very good, very powerful. I love, you know, I'm sure that was for Linda and all that stuff, but very moving stuff. Lastly, I mean, this is it. I mean, this again, they don't have to be slow, they can be upbeat. And he got so much flack for this song, and it was his biggest hit in the 70s. Silly Love Songs for me is just, you know, it brings me joy in my life. You know, you know, the lyrically, it's just so easy. Love doesn't come in a minute, sometimes it doesn't come at all, you know. And then the bit when Denny, Linda, and Paul, they're all three harmonizing together, different line, you know, it's just so moving and perfect. You know, my wife and I mean, when every time we play it, I mean, we're you know, we're just singing, constantly singing along. You know, we played it at our wedding as well. So this song, from the moment I heard it, I mean, I vaguely remember hearing it in the 70s. You know, I was young. I was like 3 or 4 when it came out. I remember hearing it, and it's just always stuck, and I just love it. I just continue to love it. And I don't care if people hate it. I don't care if critics, you know, poop on it or whatever. I just think it's just a great love song, pop love song, whatever you want to say. I think it's just brilliant.
No, Tom, I love that song too, and I loved it back when it was a new song. It's a
Right.
big part of my childhood, big
Mhm.
part of my growing up. I always talk about it. Lately, I've only gotten this feeling that people like to, you know, uh, complain about it and whine about it. I don't get it myself.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you had to be there really to really get the feel of the times with it. I don't know, but it's such a wonderful song, such a big smash hit. I
Mhm.
Mm.
don't get what people don't like about it, and the idea of him just going, I love you."
Yeah.
People pick on that. That's the idea behind. I see the
Right.
same way every time
Right.
it comes up. I get uptight about it because that's the idea of it. You know, here I go
Yeah.
again. You want me to sing a silly love song?
Right.
So he does the most, you know, typical thing line. I
Listen,
love you.
whenever
He
someone says it's not a love song, I disagree. I mean, he's saying "I love you"
Well,
constantly throughout the song. I mean, to me, that just says love song to me.
it's a love song. It's a love song about love songs for love
Right.
songs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
yes, it's very
that's
meta, but
Yeah.
still,
Right.
it's
And
yeah.
silly
Oh,
love songs.
and I love that part when he just sings "I love you." I mean, that's
Right.
a
Yeah.
mm.
what a
And then you get
pure
the sax
vocal.
and the
Yeah.
you incorporate the sax there, you know, in between there. Yeah, it's just great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There was
Yep.
a lot of work put behind that recording,
Yeah.
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 especially in the harmony work, and
Mm.
everybody points to that great bass line in there,
Right.
The
and the
bass
horns
alone.
are, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, he was attacking the critics at
Right.
the time,
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
putting him down for being
Mhm.
sappy and doing love songs. And look what happened. He had a #1 hit for 5 weeks,
Right.
and it was actually the #1 song of 1976
6. Right.
overall. So the public spoke
Yep.
Yep.
back then, and I think that we need to respect, you know, the fact that the public really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all you got to do is look at the charts. That will tell you what the public thinks about certain music when it gets exposed on the
Right.
radio.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, okay, great.
Okay, let's continue. Who's next?
I guess that's my turn.
It's you.
Because I'm still thinking. I'm against
Yeah.
it. Calico Skies, silly love song. Oh, hold on. Not no more lonely nights.
Um,
What's the other one? Oh man, I'm bad. I'm concentrating on moderating. That's my problem.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
right.
listening enough all right, Ken.
like you said, there's so many love songs from Paul, and you know, #1 and 2 are kind of easy for me. After, you know, once you get to 3, all of these are kind of equal. And there's a part of me like you, Tom. I didn't want to go with the obvious.
Mhm.
I love Maybe I'm Amazed to
Right.
death. I'm a little bit burnt out on the song, but I
Yeah.
recognize how great a song it truly is.
Right.
Right.
And it would be a shame not to include it in some list here. But
Right.
I didn't want to use that one. And yet at the same time, I think we should show a little bit of love to
Mhm.
My Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I
That was a
said
runner
to,
up.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
runner up.
I
Right.
mean, Silly Love Songs was a #1 record for 5 weeks, and My Love
Mhm.
was #1 for 4 weeks. And that's not too shabby in
Nope.
my book. And it's just, you know, it's not the greatest lyrics in the world. My Love does it good,
Right.
you know, but,
Does
you
it
know,
well.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Always
But-
with the vocabulary with you.
That's right.
The melody is just so strong, and the way that Paul sings it, and the whole arrangement of the song is just wonderful. I love that song from the first time I heard it. Never get tired of hearing it. Don't hear it that often nowadays.
Right.
But it's still a gem to me. And I wanted to put one song in there that was a major hit that I think was a great example of why Paul shines as a balladeer.
Mhm.
My number 2 choice, I know, is not a favorite of you guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait. It's
Through
going to
Our
be from
Love.
Flowers in the Dirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
for love.
Through Our Love from Pipes of Peace, which closed the
okay.
album, is such an incredible song. And there are certain songs that Paul has done through the years that have just a positive message, and that's what this song exudes. There's nothing that you can't do with your loved one. I love the lyrics. Whenever you get some time, I'd like to roll it all up in a ball and spend it with you. You've got the power of love, and love has the power to make it come true. We can go through our love. We can do things that they said were impossible. We can do all that we want to do. We can go through our love. And he repeats kind of the same line. We can see things that they said were invisible, that kind of thing. But the melody is great. There's a tremendous buildup in the song, especially in the instrumental part right before the last verse. And Paul's voice is all the way up high there. It was just so well executed in its production and its arrangement. And the song is far more important than everything else to me. But the combination of all that together, I just think it's one of the finest songs, love songs, which I wish had been a single from Pipes of Peace.
Mm.
And then my number 1 choice, I'm glad I'm not alone,
I know that from when we started.
is Only Love Remains, which I think is the best love song that he's done in his solo career. Great lyrics throughout. His vocals are amazing throughout the whole song, especially the bridge. Taking the sand inside an oyster, changing it into a pearl, and his voice is really in a high register, and the orchestration behind that is just superb. And kind of like what you said, when all is said and done, the only thing
Yep.
Oops. Oh, okay. I think he'll come back, but the only thing that remains is love. I think he was trying to say.
Well, that's the only
He's
thing
still
that
trying
remains
by
is
the
love.
by
He's
the
trying
way
to
it seems. Still
say.
trying. Get the oil. This he's Tin Man right now.
Well, yeah. All right. Why don't I just go ahead while Ken's trying to get back? Maybe he'll pop back.
Yeah, I'll pop back
into
on.
scene.
Yep.
All right. Well, I can say that maybe I'm amazed. I deliberately didn't pick it, even though I'm trying to be different. But that I think that's maybe his best song. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. All right. Oh,
Mike.
you're muted.
You're muted still, Ken.
Muted.
You're muted.
Muted. He's
Here
muted
I am.
himself.
There you
There
go.
he is.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys froze up on me, and I guess I froze on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Only love remains.
Only
Yeah.
love.
All right.
Only
But
love.
really, everything about that song is just so perfect. I mean, when you've got a song that from start to finish is just perfect, that's what Only Love Remains is for me. The lyrics, if you should ever feel that something's wrong, I'm going to want to put it right to bring a happy ending to our song. I'll carry on believing. If your love was to trickle through my fingers, what would it leave me with? Only love remains. To hear Paul's vocals, and sometimes the vocals make the song,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I love about. I love all 4 of them as singers. They're all different in their own way. Sometimes you can love a song which may not have the greatest lyrics at all, but if you love the vocalist and he's really delivering, and the way that he delivers the song vocally makes a huge difference. But this song has everything going for it: great lyrics, great melody, great orchestration, great production, song of perfection all the way through. So I had to rate that as number 1.
Great.
Agreed.
Boy, I feel funny for not having it on my list, even though I do like it, and it was a long time to like it, but
Mhm.
I do like it a
Mm.
lot now.
Mhm.
Um, but I was saying while Ken was frozen that I'm trying to think outside the box. I mean, otherwise I'd give the same three songs maybe all the time. But maybe I'm amazed, so I'm not gonna pick. But I do want to say how much I love the song. I think that might be if I was pressed, that might be what I think is Paul's best song. You
Mhm.
know, and My Love, I'm glad that Ken gave it some love because that's also getting a lot of shots these days. Maybe because of the
Mhm.
Mm.
whoa whoa whoas. I don't know, but I think it's a beautiful song and it's a hit. But anyway, I'll start with, and these are going to be in no order. Calico Skies, I put on mine also. I just
Yay.
love the finger picking, the simplicity of it, but yet it's so heartfelt, and the words are so beautiful. The thing is, though, about it, something when I sometimes when I know the history of a song, I'm like, oh, I was hoping it kind of was different. Like I think it's one of Paul's best that he's ever written in his whole career. But he wrote it in '91, really, or started it in
Mhm.
Yeah.
'91, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I saw a quote where he called it a gentle love song that becomes a protest song in a
Mhm.
way. It talks about soldiers and all this kind of
Third
stuff.
All right.
verse.
Mm.
Yep.
When I first heard it, on Flaming Pie when it came out, I thought, well, Linda wasn't well, and the bit about I'll hold you, for as long as
Yeah.
you like.
Mhm.
I always thought, oh, that was, it's like bittersweet, kind of like
Yeah.
an ode to her and taking care of her at this time when he knows that she's not well. I mean, he'd lose her.
Mhm.
That kind of thing is. I kind of like to have that feel when I listen to the song.
Yeah.
That it's for
Me too.
Linda and the
Mhm.
situation she was in at the time. But it wasn't. But but he probably was thinking that
He
and
must have
feeling that.
been.
Mhm.
I'm sure. But it's just so beautiful. Now, the other one I always pick now, just like I think you hear me say this song a lot, just like Ken might often pick "Only Love Remains." Uh, it's "Some Days."
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
one of my all-time
Love.
favorite Paul
Love it.
songs. I
Yeah.
say it all the time. Uh, I'm not going to go through all the words. It's so beautiful, simple again, and the idea that Paul wrote this in 2 hours is like a challenge to himself.
Right.
Right.
Linda was at a photo shoot that was only going to take a couple hours, and he wanted to see if he could complete a song. And he did. He completes this wonderful song in such a short period of time. Because we saw what he did with "Get Back" in the
Yeah.
song,
Yep.
and the "Get Back," how he just gave birth to that just like that. And I'm like, what a genius, of melody. And it says a lot. I love the words in there. I love the bridge. We don't need anybody else. The whole
Mm.
tell us what is real, etc., etc. And then it only gets enhanced when George Martin adds to it.
Sure.
He puts some strings and things on there. Uh, eh, it's beautiful, but it's also a little on the sad side too.
Yeah.
you know. So it's that bittersweet thing again where it's, you know, happy in a way, but also kind of sad and
Mm.
Mhm.
longing, feeling bad about things.
Yeah. Well, Paul,
Mm.
had just a real quick, Joe. Paul had a great moment, a lot of great moments on Flaming Pie.
Sure did.
Mm,
For especially for lyrics. I mean, and the one that I almost made my list too was Heaven on a Sunday, just for
Mm.
the lyric for if I only had one love, yours would be the one I choose, which I
yeah,
just love that line.
that says it. That says
Yep.
it. Now it's
Yeah.
funny because after that, I'm sitting with my girlfriend in the other room and I'm writing this stuff down.
Mm,
You know, before the show, like before the show, actually, I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
mm,
And I said, "Oh boy, that's such a sad thing to that song." She goes, "What about New?
mhm,
That's a beautiful love song, and that's all
yeah.
happy." I said, "You know something? Yeah, I'm going to use that because I
Mm.
love
Yeah.
the song New.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, you could say it's oh geez, it's like just a simple knockoff. It's like la di da di da kind of thing, and it's like a little corny maybe. I love it. I just think it's just what you need. It says so much about new love when everything's
Mm,
fresh and
Yeah.
everything's
Mhm.
a new experience, and with your partner you can just experience everything brand new and whatever we want to do, take a walk or whatever. It's basic, but right now that's how I'm feeling about it because I did these three and the way the song "New" came into it. I said, "Yeah, I'll use that." I was going to go with my Valentine, which I don't. It's not, and everybody's not a big fan of it because I think that's I say a modern classic. That's what, like 10 years old now, right? It's like a modern day Paul standard in a way, almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to believe, but yeah, that's my pick for Paul.
Good.
Very
Well,
cool.
I could have
Great.
100 others, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm especially pleased at how many selections were, of say from the 2000s on here.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
very, very happy about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say, because you were talking about Calico Skies and how much you associate that with Paul having Linda on his mind. I've always felt that way about Some Days, despite the
Yes.
fact that he banged it out in 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when you know what Linda was going through at the time and the struggles they were going through, you associate that album a lot with Linda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you can't help but associate it with her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's true. So, well, everybody's been making lots of comments, and the good choices in here. Someone likes Magic. Ollie likes Magic off Driving Rain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been magic.
So,
Well, again for
just wanted
Linda.
to see. Coming Back for Love is sublime. Tony DeMeo says. Here Today. People were talking about Here Today as a love song to John.
Right.
Sure.
from
Yeah.
Paul,
Absolutely.
That's true. Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
It's endless.
Yeah.
It really
It
is that we
is.
could have included here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It was so hard to narrow it down. I mean, there were so many great songs.
Yeah, this one. I like this one a lot. Yeah.
This one.
I always thought that should
Oh,
have been
this
the first
one,
single.
yeah.
Here's a question: should Capital MPL put out a love songs album by Paul?
Yes.
Oh,
Sure.
I mean, that could be a double album right there.
Easily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Easily.
I'll take
I
it
don't
if it comes out, but I'd rather have the official Cold Cuts box.
Mark,
Even though
yeah.
I
that's
know we
true.
have the archives. I know all the bonus
Yeah.
tracks. I want it all concise in like one set like that. Oh, nothing but you play them and it's just nothing but we'll call them obscurities for most people. But you
Right.
Mark
Then-
Zutkoff said we should do a sequel and do in the future favorite solo heartbreak songs.
Oh.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Okay.
that would be something I'd have to knock off a lot longer before just a couple hours before the show.
Yeah,
I'd have to
that's
think about
true.
that one for a while.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
you
that's
know-
fine. That's a good idea.
We had discussed way back now the idea that Paul should put out all soundtrack music. A compilation of his soundtrack stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This is quite a lot
absolutely.
there.
Yes.
You can easily. You've
Yeah,
got.
y-
You've got
Live and
so
Let
much.
Die,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Endless.
with love songs, there's an embarrassment of riches here.
Yes.
So
And I'm still championing the sound check idea.
Yes.
I'd love to have a
Mhm.
sound check project.
I'd buy
I think
that.
there'd be a lot of different things you didn't perform live all the time.
Mhm.
Maybe
well, not just that, but if you were to take a look at all the songs that he hasn't released that he's done live from say the 2000s on, and even before that, in '93 he did Another Day live, but it wasn't on Paul's live. It was on the video, but it wasn't on the CD. But there's a whole bunch of songs, especially Beatles songs, that have not come out as a live release at all on CD.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. What he has done, I'm not that crazy about the idea, was when on the deluxe versions of something like New and Egypt Station, he had those bonus tracks for live cuts of what he did from those albums.
Oh, right.
But
Right.
why not put out a whole live album and give you a taste of everything that he did from whatever tour it represents?
Right.
But there's got to be like 15 to 20 songs
We'll see.
that are
yeah.
not represented as live recordings now
Right.
from Paul. And
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of them were Beatles, but there's quite a lot there.
Yeah. I mean, especially like the soundtrack one. I mean, that would just be like what they call a budget release. I mean, he owns all that stuff anyways. So even if it was on an album, I mean, a soundtrack for a movie, he owns that song. He could take it and put it on his own album if he wanted. He could have put
That's
He could have put Vanilla Sky on Driving Rain if he wanted to.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to take something off then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already long
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, right.
So,
I need a longer rinse the raindrops myself.
yeah, that's what. Hey, I like
that
that
half
one.
hour version.
The
Out there.
That's right.
extended cut.
That's right.
All right. So, okay. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Mm.
All right. So, when we go off the kick to say where we can be found if you're looking for us.
Absolutely, and of course, if you're watching this on the replay, keep in the comments. Keep letting us know what your favorite love songs are from the four. We do read your comments, so we love hearing your selections. And speaking of comments, if you want to send us your ideas for future topics and feedback, you can email us at talkmoresolotalk@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at talkmoretalk1. That's the number 1. You can find us on Facebook at Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles video cast. You can also, of course, find us right here on this YouTube channel, and please subscribe and ring the bell. You can be notified of any future episodes. And thank you all for your support and for subscribing. We're growing and growing, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much. And you can also find us on our website, talkmoretalk.com. So I think that's everything of how you have everywhere you can find it. Oh, and you can find the audio version of this broadcast on virtually any podcasting platform you can think of.
Yeah, you can subscribe to Mean Mr. Mayo on YouTube and hit the old bell and get the notifications every time a video comes. Ding, ding, ding. That's what people do. That's what they say. Ding, ding, ding. Hit the bell. Hit that bell.
Hit that
I
bell.
don't have nothing really coming up to special. Business as usual, pretty much on my channel. Well, we're going to be doing a Fab Gab maybe on the 20th of February. That'll be live, and it may be the Ringo self-titled album.
Oh,
We'll
cool.
be featuring
Cool.
then possibly. So let's pass it around here, and we'll all go and say what we're up to.
Mm.
And whoever wants to start.
I'll start. Okay. On my YouTube channel, Ken Michaels Radio, please subscribe. I just did an interview today with Steve Matteo, who was a guest recently with us. And since he wrote the book Let It Be back in 2004, there you go.
There you
Everything
go.
is really at his fingertips.
All right there.
Jesus. That must be one big room you got there. But
long arms.
You have an Abbey Road coaster if you want to talk about that. Right at my fingertips.
Steve, we talked a little bit about the Get Back documentary, but he did a Fab Five show, which is when you name one Beatles album, one from each solo Beatle, that are the albums that you're listening to now, and explain why. Doesn't have to be your favorite or what you think is the best. These are your go-to albums for today. And Steve gave me his list. And that's brand new. There'll be more new interviews on my YouTube channel. So as I said, please subscribe, Ken Michaels Radio. Things we said today, my other podcast show, we just did a show a few days ago on the Yellow Submarine album and song track. And that just went up. And we're going to do a show next week on the brand new documentary, The Beatles and India, which premieres on the BritBox channel on February 15th. That's next week. And we're going to be interviewing one of the producers for the documentary for that. Also, there's my website, kenmichaelsradio.com. Loads of audio interviews in there, which you should check out if you've never been there before, with so many people connected to the Beatles. And of course, weekly Beatles trivia, where you can win one of 10 prizes every single week with Beatles trivia and Beatle games. And this one is Do the Math. That's the one for this particular week. And see if you can figure out the answers and write to me, email me, and you might win one of those 10 great prizes. And I think, what's that?
That says 222 plus 444.
That's not it.
Okay, no. All right.
Nice try.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. And there you go. That's everything.
Hey, what's going on, Tom?
Yeah, so busy as always. this week, this Wednesday actually is going to mark the 50th anniversary that Paul returned to stage. He started the Wings University tour, I should say, started this month, and we're going to celebrate that. Myself, Andy, and our music man Dylan Seavey will be joining us. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our dream 25 song set list from Paul McCartney, and could be throughout his whole career. It could be solo, it could be Wing stuff, just no Beatles songs. It's just going to be all pure McCartney, all solo McCartney stuff, and I think that's just going to be a fun time. Then that's going to be live this Wednesday on our YouTube channel. And speaking of YouTube, we passed the 900 subscribers list, so thank you everybody for subscribing. We are going to do a big 1,000 subscribers giveaway once we hit that. And what we're going to do is I have another copy of the Wings Wildlife Half-Speed Master coming.
I don't have it.
Well, you could enter to win once we hit 1,000 subscribers.
No, I'm not. I'm going to let somebody else have a chance at it.
And we're also giving away the red vinyl of McCartney that came out in 2017. So you could win these two items once we hit the 1,000 subscriber number, and we'll do that then. This coming week, Saturday, we just interviewed author Ray Zirkle, who put out these two books. This one first came out advertising the Beatles, which was just all ads promoting the Beatles albums, cassettes, tapes, CDs, all that stuff. And volume 2, which talked about all the solo career of the Beatles, and they had some other Beatles stuff in there as well.
Now,
So
wait a minute. Why don't you tell me about this? I need that.
Yeah, so this just came out. You can watch our show and you can learn how to get this book and this book if you want to as well. So yeah, that's this Saturday. It's Ray Zirkle talking about his new book, Advertising the Beatles Volume 2. We touched a little bit on the first volume as well. After that, we're going to be talking about the Unplugged show, the album. And then after that, we'll have a returning guest, Owen Ling, on. We'll talk about his new upcoming book, the George Harrison, the 70s, and we're going to main topic will be on Live and Let Die, the song. So that's what's coming up for Two Legs.
I'm going to start doing interviews.
There's a lot.
No two ways about it.
Yeah.
Quite a lot there.
Yep.
All right, Kit, what's going on?
All right, just a couple of things. First off, I think the last time I mentioned I'd taped an episode of Ranking the Beatles, the podcast. I think that is coming out this week. So as soon as it comes out, I will post the information on my Facebook page and on our Talk More Talk page. So be on the lookout for that. And this Tuesday, February 15th, I will be appearing at Monmouth University's Tuesday Night Record Club, which is hosted by our good pal, Ken Womack. We are going to be talking about Prince's Sign of the Times album from 1987, really a landmark album for him. That will be Tuesday the 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It is absolutely free to attend. So it's a lot of fun. We don't play the entire album, but we play, certain cuts, and we talk about how the album was made, what the significance of certain songs are. It is just a blast. And again, I'll post the information on Facebook as to how to register, but you can also just Google Monmouth University Tuesday Night Record Club, and the link will show up. And it's just a blast. I hope I will see you there. Again, it's Tuesday, February 15th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
You guys are you guys going to touch on the fact that was different projects leading up to the finished project, because it was originally a couple different projects before it became Sign of the Times?
Yeah, we're going to touch on as much as we can. Yeah, we'll touch on that. Yeah, what led up to it, and all that. So cool. So it's and then we play, as many cuts as we can, in the time limit. But yeah, really looking forward to it.
Cool, very cool.
Okay.
Back?
I'm here.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
I guess I froze again.
Well, on that note, thanks everybody for joining us. Hopefully we'll do it again in 2 weeks, usually, right? And so therefore, for Kid O'Toole, Tom Hunyadi, Kenneth Michaels, This is Joe Mayo saying some people want to fill the world with silly love songs. And what's wrong with that?
There you
I
go.
need to know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day early.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's